Welcome to our weekly podcast, Real Talk with Chris and Ross. We are designed for entrepreneurs and forward thinkers. We also cater very heavily around the real estate industry as a whole, bringing you hot topics and up to date content with a lot of amazing special guest speakers along the way. So sit back, buckle your seatbelt, and get ready for the best hour of your day. Boy, have I that intro. 2 weeks been off, Rossan. We were gone for 4th of July week. And then last week, I was honored to be out in Texas for Build 2023, which was amazing. Man, fireworks. This from 4th of July on, it was like fireworks nonstop. And Texas had its full share of fireworks. Anyways, welcome to the show, Real Talk with Chris and Ross. We are episode 32, and it feels good to be back in the saddle again. My co-host with the mostest, Rossan III. How you doing, my friend?
Man, I'm doing incredible, and I'm so excited to talk to Coco today and get to know more about our featured guest. Let's go.
I know. I love it. Every week we have some remarkable, amazing, top talented special guests. And this week we have another one. Coco actually is one of ours. She is with us in California, really close to me, actually, in the Bay Area. So for those who don't know who are listening in the podcast world, California, it's not San Diego. I feel like every time we talk to somebody, they say, oh, I know California. It's like San Diego always. It's never like Modesto to Fresno. It's like nothing's that. It's like, oh yeah, I know California. It's either San Diego or San Francisco, the two classic points in California. Everything else is irrelevant, I feel like. But the Bay Area, which Coco resides in, is an amazing, like just melting pot of amazing people with high-priced homes, which is super expensive. And anyways, love Coco. She's amazing, always smiling. Love her demeanor, love her personality, love her energy. Upbeat, and always wanting to learn, man. And she's always wanting to grow and like new ideas. She's definitely not afraid to jump off the cliff at all. So I love and respect her dearly. Coco, and you actually are not in the Bay Area today. So you are Zooming with us from Greece, Italy. Like, oh my gosh, look at that. And it's dark over there. What time is it over there, Coco?
It's not almost 9:15, and I'm on the island of Crete in Greece.
Wow.
And you have the window open, you can kind of see the sun setting. There's a pool outside. I'm in a villa, enjoying the weather and actually out here training real estate agents and talking about the big issues out here. And I get to meet real estate agents. So I'm enjoying Greece, but I'm also learning, like you said, and asking questions and figure out how I can help real estate agents grow. And I'm learning in the process. So it's really cool.
I love it. This is like your journey. This is like your calling, I believe. You know, like everybody has a calling. This is your calling. Well, awesome. We'll love to hear that. We'll hear more about Greece in a minute, Crete in a minute. Do a favor, show the podcast out there. Those that don't know who Coco is, and that's obviously short nickname Coco. Go ahead and introduce yourself real quick. Give us a quick glimpse of your life and kind of how you got to where you're at so far.
Yeah. So I started out, actually, I have an undergrad in international business with an emphasis in finance. I have a master's in taxation. I used to work for Ernst & Young, one of the big four, in their tax department. I did that for a while, and I was like, I'll try something different. And I went into corporate America. I did outside sales for really big companies and did tech sales. And at that time, I had 2 little kids already. I unfortunately lost my 3rd child. He passed away 30 weeks pregnant. So I came to a realization that being in the corporate world, working really like 7 a.m. to 7 p.m, not enjoying what I was doing. It was great, but it wasn't like fulfilling me. Losing a child, I told my husband that I was done. I was getting job offers. And it's funny, even to this day, I will talk with VPs of sales who are like, come run the department. Like, I'm like, no, I don't want to do tech corporate. No more. But what happened was I was getting these job opportunities where they would say, I'll give you $500,000 plus bonuses and everything. You'll make $1 million a year. Come work for our team and sell. You're so good at sales. And after losing my child, I was like, I don't want it. I was so unhappy. I never saw my kids. Losing a child that young, I was still pregnant, so it was 30 weeks, but it was a full-term baby. And we were ready for him to come. And I said to my husband, I need something different. And he said, why don't you try real estate? You're always interested in homes. And the funny thing is I'll go to my friends' homes or people's homes, not necessarily to socialize, but I was like, I want to see what their home looks like. What do they do inside? What is it like? It was always fascinating. So I did it. And my first year, I was pregnant with my now third living child. I was at Keller Williams, and I was Rookie of the Year with no real estate experience. Nobody in my family does real estate. I was actually cautioned by my parents, do not do real estate. You're throwing your life away. You're making the worst choice ever. How could you do this? You have a corporate job that pays you really well. I was like the child that ruined everything. And I did it. I jumped in, and I was Rookie of the Year my first year. By my third year in real estate, I actually became top producer, and I still am a top producer. I'm going into my 8th year in real estate. I have 4 little kids now, and I get to travel the world. I'm also an international speaker and a certified success coach. And I get to travel the world, and I get to meet people. I get to talk at events, and I still sell real estate. And I just love what I do.
Wow.
That's amazing. What a story, right? And so I didn't even know about your third child. I apologize to hear about that. So sorry.
Thank you.
That's got to be traumatic experience that probably nobody really can relate to, and obviously. So, but I just want to say real quick, I think your personality, just like up front, is someone who doesn't take no for an answer. I feel like you're somebody who not just knowing knocks on doors, you kick doors in. You're definitely that person who maybe even lacks a little bit of patience, but that's just your personality of like, right? Yeah. Just a driver type personality of like, boom, 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 boom. So I feel like no matter what you're about to embark on and whatever career you're about to do, I feel bad for those who actually kind of maybe like disgruntled you and talked to you in a negative way about it, because I think they were like in for a show. That probably fueled you even more. But your corporate America background is remarkable. I mean, how easy would it be to go back and say, yeah, I'll take that $500,000 a year salary. I'll take those bonuses. I'll take the easy, guaranteed, certain, right?
It's funny because it's certain, and I get it. Even like my husband's company that he's at, every time I talk to them, they're like, can you please come work for us? Can you please come train our sales team? Can you please run this division? I was actually in London at his office, and they were like, whoa, why don't you come out here and help us sell? Like, that's crazy. And I go, I don't want it. I work 15 hours a week in real estate, and I make a high 6-figure income, and I get to spend the time with my children. I enjoy my life. I get to do what I want to do, and I get to build my global team that I'm building. Why would I ever go back? Like, why would I do that? It just doesn't make sense. I love doing this. And one of the biggest things, a lot of people talk about finding a purpose. You have to have a purpose, and purpose is so important, because if you don't have a purpose, or like Keller Williams, your why, right? Your big why.
Yep.
You feel lost. And I'm writing a book called The 5-Year Plan. I know Chris knows, I've talked to him offline a little bit about this, but if you don't have a true purpose or a plan, you end up circling, and you get stuck, and the years pass you by, and you don't realize you're circling until one day you wake up and you're like, I didn't go anywhere. I didn't do anything. I didn't change anything. And so many people are just stuck. And I said, the reason is because your purpose is not strong enough, and you're not fast tracking. You're not calculating back saying, my 5-year plan is this. Here's what I'm going to do each year, every year. Here's what I'm going to do every month. Here's what I'm going to do every week. Here's what I have to do every day to get to it. And people get lost on the journey. And the journey is really what life is about, not the goals. And so I have a true purpose of helping people. And I help so many people who actually, when here in Greece, I was talking to someone, and he said, you're going to do that for how much money? And I said, no, I'm going to do it for free because I'm kind. And he goes, maybe there's a language barrier. I don't think I understand you. How much do I need to pay you to help me market my villas? And I said, I don't think you understand. I will do it for free. He was just baffled by that. He was like, why would somebody help me for no money at all? And I was like, because I'm a good person. Like, I believe in good energy. I have a purpose. If I can help you, it'll help others. And so on goes the cycle. So that's the way I look at things.
I love that. So KoKo, first off, right off the gate, I love your story. I mean, the fact that you know your value and your worth to such a high degree, and the way you carry yourself, it's just contagious. You're like, this success is rolling through all the way from Greece over here, right in Michigan. And that's awesome. Excited to see your book, by the way. That's going to be cool. Cannot wait to wait when it releases. I guess one of my questions is right off the bat, because you said, hey, I had these jobs, I had these offers, I knew, what I wanted. And your husband kind of mentioned real estate, and you got into it. I can tell you're very structured and have plans, and your vision. When you got into real estate, right, that first year that you started, Did you latch onto a great coach? Did you have a great mentor? What was your thought as that new agent of how you were going to take this? And I guess, did you envision it to be this big?
So the funny thing is, when I got into real estate, I was just like, I need to make money because I came in leaving a job where I made so much money to one income, having children who are in private school, having nothing. And I was just like, I need to make this work. Like, I don't care what I have to do. So I didn't have a vision. I didn't have a plan. It was just, I like to associate like a wolf. I wanted to smell out people. I was hungry. It's like, who could I work with? Who's really going to work with me? Oh, they didn't work. They didn't work. And I would just throw things to the wall, whatever stuck. Mm-hmm. I had a mentor because Keller Williams assigns you a mentor, but I did at least back then. And so I had a mentor at the time, Doug Goss, who was amazing. And he still introduced me as the person who does it differently, because we were required to go to classes. We were required to meet with him and learn the contracts. And he would scream, this is how I got KoKo, by the way. He would scream down the hallway, Christina KoKo KoKo. And he just started screaming, where is KoKo? Because I was supposed to meet him for contracts and to go over it. And I would be running down the hallway with the contract and be like, I don't have time. I'm writing an offer. Help me write an offer. Did I do it right? So it was more of, I just took a hold of it. And this is kind of my personality. I figure it out. And Chris knows I get stuck a lot. And I tell people when I coach them, don't think I never get stuck. I fail so much. The difference is you fail, you dust yourself off, you do it again, you fail, you dust it. You have to, right? And so when I first started in real estate, that's what I did. I tried so many things. I worked with so many buyers. It was mainly buyers. I did so much that by my third year, I knew who my ideal client was. I knew who I wanted to go after. I knew who I wanted to work with. And I worked mainly with buyers, almost 100% buyers, and became a top producer. And I worked less hours than these listing agents were doing, which is kind of cool.
That's awesome. I love that, and I think that is such a great approach, right? Because you don't know what you don't know until you know. And so you just jumped in, you got your hands right into the mess. You had to figure it out. And, as a result of that, though, you started to build by year 3. Then you had your ideal client. And I'm assuming by then you really knew your time and everything, and you were able to really map that out. That's great. So what I'm hearing is, for those new agents that are listening, or even someone that's in the business, it's okay if you don't have it all figured out. The fact that you're just going out there and you're making that effort and having the ability to, I know you said stuck or fail or make a mistake or not have the answer, but that's okay. Sometimes we all get caught up in that analysis paralysis and we don't make any decisions. So I love that you have that spirit about you and that ability to go all in.
What's interesting, though, when I added this, though, in the beginning, if you talk about your first part of your story, you said you just need to make money. And I think that's relevant to everybody, right? When you get in this business, you need to make money. So if you ask somebody, oh, was this your main purpose? Did you have it? Like, I get it. No, I need to freaking make money, put food on my table. Like Veronica Figueroa yesterday, right? Her great in the team meeting. She had kids. She needed to make money, and there was no other option. So I'm going to do what I got to do. So I love that. First off, again, let's just start there. It makes you know that you're actually a human. Like everybody else, right? You put your pants on one leg at a time. And you realize that I had to get into this and I need to make money, number 2. But then your purpose and your why didn't come clear to you until a later time. So you had to go through this process. I think so many people a lot of times get in this business and like, I need extreme clarity. I need purpose. I need to know it all right now, because we're told that, right? We go to seminars, we go to like Craig Proctor's, we go to Grant Cardone's, we go to Tony Robbins, and they say, okay, you got to get clear, you got to get vision, you got to get really focus. What's your why? What's your why? And maybe you don't even know what your why is. I mean, let's ask an 18-year-old kid who's graduating high school. Do you know what you want to be when you get out? No, I have no idea, but I'm going to go to college for 4 years and drink lots of alcohol and party, and then hopefully I can learn something, right? That's the goal. So even adults get into real estate and have no clue what they want to do ultimately. So I love that. I want to make sure everybody understands that, like, this is, quit making it more difficult than what it is. This is literally 1, 2, 3 ABCs, and you started, and I love your story, KoKo, because you proved that. But you also have something that most people don't have. That's gas in your tank. Like, you are a fire freaking cracker, like for real, on steroids. So let's start there. But you're going to say something. I mean, I feel like you're uninterrupted, but yeah.
I was just going to say, I coach so many people and I've talked to so many people. I've talked to new agents. I've talked to agents who've been in the business for 20 plus years and who've lost their mojo. I am so big on explaining that life is the journey, not the goals. Because and I love Tony Robbins. I can't remember exactly how he said it, but he basically said that he got to a point where he hit all his goals. He's made all the money he's ever going to make. He's got everything. And he was just like, if I didn't have my purpose of why, of like really just helping people and enjoying this trip, he goes, I would have sat here being like, what do I do next? Like, I would not be happy.
Yep.
And I know so many people who are super wealthy who are not happy. You know, their kids hate them. They're divorced. They're miserable, but they have millions in the bank. So I tell people, I say, you may not have it all figured out. And that's okay. Because I'm still, even though I have my purpose, it still grows and it changes. And I still figure what makes me happy. And I try to veer to happiness. But I tell people, I go, enjoy the journey. Enjoy that journey, because by the time you realize it, as you go and you hit one goal and you're not satisfied and you go to the next goal and you're not satisfied, you're going to wake up in your 60s or your 70s, no kids around to love you, no spouse around or partner to love you, and you're going to be miserable. And I see it so much. So I tell people, slow down. Yes, the goals are important, but follow the journey. Just enjoy the life. And so for me, I have a lot of frustrations. Like, you know, for me, building my global team, I've been with EXP for 6 years. And I keep telling myself I should be farther along. I should be doing more. And I'm not. And I kind of get disheartened. I keep telling myself, but timing is meant to be. Like, my kids always tell me, Mom, if you knew that baby Michael was going to pass away, would you have changed something or would you have done something knowing this information? And I always tell them no. And they go, really? And I go, because then I wouldn't have my 2 other kids, right? Like, you have to go through a path to get to somewhere. So it's like, I wasn't ready in my 20s to do this kind of career. Like, I'm 40 now, and in my 20s, if I knew all this information, great. But when I was 20, I didn't know any of this because I had to learn it. I had to go through the journey to experience it. And I think too many people see these people who are really successful and they say, this is what I want. I'm just going to be there. And I have to admit, that was me a while ago too. You trying to jump over a bridge that's not built. And you keep jumping and falling, climbing back, jumping and falling, climbing back. And now I've realized that you have to build the bridge as you go to get to the other side. You can't just jump it. You have to learn as you go. You have to change. You have to tweak it. You have to develop it. You have to build it. Or else when you get there, you won't be ready to take on what lies there.
True. Because you're not growing in parallel to your dreams and goals, aspirations.
Yeah.
So you're like there's a disconnect, there's a bridge, there's a gap. And like, you're right. Well, a couple things though I love about that is the purpose, because that's my thing too. Like, what is your purpose? And I think it's a very loosely used term, because you can ask a room probably about 100 people, who knows what their purpose is. And probably like 2 people, I mean, and being honest, don't bullshit me and like, oh, my purpose is to feed all the hungry. Okay, that's like everybody's purpose. Let's just be honest. If you're a nice, genuine human being, you want to feed all the hungry people. But what is the most internal purpose that is the most like in tune to your soul? Like, it's yours. What is your one that you own? And I don't think people know. I personally just found mine out this past year in January when I was writing all my stuff down and trying to identify what I was going to do this year. Finally, my purpose came to like a light bulb, right? So yeah, I love that, because that's very synonymous to you really growing and building and developing and making these new levels. Is if you don't know your purpose, then you're right. You're going to make $1 million. If you're just a driver, you're going to make $1 million, but you're going to be completely unhappy and you're going to have no purpose, and you're going to stop at $1 million and have nothing else to move forward to. So yeah, that's why I say, the journey is the journey. It's the constant. It's life. You'll never grow to your fullest potential. If you have purpose, you'll never reach your full potential. Ever.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many levels to that too, right? I mean, just this year, I'm starting to adapt in that place where, I'm not happy that I'm not at my goals here, but I can celebrate where I've been and find that peace in the day-to-day to celebrate and still move forward. Because, I love that, Coco. I've been that guy, right? I've had the house, the wife, the kids, the perfect picture, and yet have been so miserable, and I'm like, wait, I'm not supposed to be unhappy right now. Why am I unhappy? And I'm running on the hamster wheel because more will figure it out. Right. And that's just not necessarily always the fix. It's good.
It's not. And so many people are like, oh, look at you. You're so amazing. You get to go to Greece. You get to do this. You get to do that. But I look at it. I'm like, but why am I so amazing? Look what you've done. Like, so I was coaching this one agent, and she was always struggling, couldn't get a listing, couldn't get a buyer, just really struggling. And I was just thinking about it one day, and I stopped and I called her and I said, do you have 5 minutes? Let's just do a quick coaching call. She's like, sure. I go, I need to ask you an honest question. And I need the truth. Like, don't BS me. I need the truth on this question. She's like, oh my God, what is it? I go, when was the last time you told yourself that you love yourself?
Mm.
And she was like, what? I was like, don't think about it. When was the last time you said I love you to yourself? She goes, never.
Mm-hmm.
We need to start right there.
Yeah.
Because if you don't love yourself and you don't appreciate yourself, what happens is you fight for more. You think, oh, if I make more money, or if I'm a better wife, or I'm a better mother, everything is better. And about 2 years ago, I was driving, and I was listening to some podcasts that I love, that like, because you can tell I like mindset stuff, and I really am trying to grow and be a better person and help more people. And they were just talking about going back in your past and forgiving people who you feel hurt you, because they may not even know, but you have to go tell them, you have to come to it. And I was just driving, I turned it off. And then all of a sudden I was like, I can't do that. I can't talk to some of these people. I'm so sad about them. They've hurt me so much. And subconsciously it was like, do you know I love you? And I just started bawling as I was driving. And it was the best feeling thing in the whole world. So I told my coaching client to do it. About 3 months after she did it, she got all this confidence, and she started closing listing after listing after listing. She was hitting them and she was closing them, because she didn't worry anymore about other people. Do they love me? Do they like me? Am I doing good? Am I not? It was, I like myself. I'm happy. Are you happy? Right? It's like, do you love yourself? Are you loving what you're doing? If not, let's change it, because life is too dang short. It really is.
Oh my God! I mean, to add this segue to that, because I'm glad you brought the life too short thing here. Because you obviously within the past, was it a year? That's a year. Has it been a year yet, or 8 months, 10 months? You went through a serious health issue, very traumatic. I mean, I feel like everybody, you had a serious let's tag on that a little bit. I want to kind of, because people talk about life being short, like how we should appreciate life, we should look like differently, like as if no tomorrow's not promised. And you're at a point where almost tomorrow wasn't promised to you. You were not know if you're going to wake up next day. So fill us in a little bit, those who are listening, what that looked like.
Yeah. So it was in April. So just a couple months ago. So not that long, which is funny. Yeah. I did a podcast actually with my plastic surgeon, because he was like, you need to tell people this. Like, this is crazy. So what happened is in the past year, I have lost about 90 pounds. And that's, by the way, I'm coaching people on that too, because that's a hard thing to do. Yeah. And I made the commitment. I said, look, I've had 5 full pregnancies, 4 living children. It does a lot on your body. And the hardest thing for me is my abdominals actually have torn. And they were so far apart that my back was hurting. I couldn't even boating, because I have a big boat and I love boating. I couldn't go boating because it would throw me around. My back would hurt so bad because I had no support. So it was more of not a vanity, but more of like, I want to be fixed so I can enjoy life and do the things that I want to do. So I lost the weight. I scheduled the surgery. I wanted to do it before Greece, because I said, I want to come out to the beach. I want to be able to paddle board. I want to really enjoy. And I had the surgery. And basically what it was he has to open you completely up, and he sews your muscles layer by layer together.
Wow.
Right. It's about a 10-hour surgery, and they sew it layer by layer. And then he does a tummy tucks and takes a skin. So I had to lose the weight enough so that he could pull it down, fix it all up and stuff. So I had that done, and I was a week in recovery. So he's never in his 20 years as a top surgeon ever had anyone 7 days into recovery have a hematoma and rupture. So what I had is inside my body, a vein burst open, and I was spewing out blood. Ooh. So he got me in. He was actually in the surgery center, which was, thank God. So he saw me right away. He moved some of his other surgeries. He took me in. I had to go in for another 5-hour surgery. Wow. And he had to find where I was bleeding, cauterize it, make sure it stopped bleeding, sew me back up again. By the time I came into recovery, the problem is the human body has about 4.7 liters of blood. I lost 2.7 liters in that 5-hour surgery. Wow. The week before, I had a 10-hour surgery where I lost 2 liters of blood, and it takes months to recover the blood, right? To do it. So what happened is I was in the recovery room trying to wake up, and I was coming to, but I didn't feel well. And they were looking at me, and I told the nurse, I said, I'm really cold. I'll get you more blankets. I said, no, you don't understand. I'm cold on the inside. And so the nurse ran and got the surgeon, and my surgeon came in. He's touching me. He's looking at my stats, and I couldn't see the stats, but afterwards he told me my blood pressure was 77.
Wow.
Basically, I didn't have enough blood in my body to survive. So he didn't delay. He didn't wait. He did nothing. He goes, we need to call 911 right now, and we need to get her to the hospital. And he sent me to the best hospital where he has rights to the hospital so he can come see me. So I don't even remember half of it, to be honest, because I was passing in and out. I didn't have enough blood. They took me into the emergency room. I don't remember going in, but you know the ER shows where people are standing over you? And all I remember is 1,000 people screaming at me, the brightest lights. I was trying to breathe and I kept passing out and coming back. I mean, my blood pressure was 70. Like I had no blood pressure.
Wow.
And they're pushing blood as fast as possible. So they did 3 packs immediately. And I remember I was joking, my poor husband, he was standing there freaking out the whole time. And I was joking, and I came to, and I was like, oh, honey, I see a bright light. He's like, what? I'm like, should I go to the bright light? It's so bright. And he's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, the lights are so bright. He's like, don't do that. That's not funny.
Oh, God.
It was just a moment of like funniness. And then I would be like, please don't let me die. Right.
Yeah.
And so I went through a lot, but I was in the emergency room for a day and a half. After they do so much blood, they can't do more blood. Like they have to go slow or your body will reject it. What I found out afterwards when I was staying over in the emergency room, because I was sleeping there talking to the nurses, and they said, we were really worried about you. And I said, well, because I was dying. They said, no, we were concerned your body was going to reject the blood. If it rejected the blood, we wouldn't be able to save you.
Oh my gosh.
And they said, you lost so much blood that the fear was we were pushing it so fast to give you blood. If your body rejected, you would have just died. We couldn't have done anything. So they were watching me so strictly. And I did some CT scans to make sure that I wasn't bleeding internally. So I did that a couple times. Now, remember, I can't move. My abdominals are sewn together, right? I have no movement in my lower body at all. I'm being picked up, put in. I stayed a day and a half in the hospital after that. And here's what I tell people. I was 30 minutes from dying, literally dying. Like if I didn't call my surgeon and say I ruptured, something's wrong, like immediately, and he didn't take me in and all this didn't play out, I would have died. After that, I got out of the hospital. While I was in the hospital, I couldn't move, like literally I couldn't do anything. So I stayed there and I was on my phone while I was on my deathbed recovering, still trying to get my blood pressure up because it was going from 70 to 90 even after all the blood. I couldn't get it stabilized. I was moving real estate. I was still on my phone. Like, what else am I going to do? What am I going to do? Pity myself that I almost died? No. I talked to my children. I talked to my husband, but I was texting. And when I recovered a week after that, I sold 2 $3.5 million homes.
Jeez. Wow.
And then a week after that, I sold a $1.4 million home.
Wow.
In 10 days, I closed those 2 $3.5 million homes and got a commission check while I was like recovering. So it was almost death, but you have a choice. And this is what so many people don't understand. It's like, should I go lie in bed and cry and say, I almost died. Oh my God, like I'm scared. No, it was, I almost died. I thank God I didn't die. I love my children even more every day. Like I tell them all the time. I'm here in Greece. I'm swimming. I'm wearing a bathing suit. I'm enjoying life. And you can't let that almost death stop you, right? Be smart. I tell people, be smart, be aware, know your body, understand, but it can't be the end to your life, if that makes sense. Like you have to understand that things are going to happen and you have a choice.
Wow.
What choice do you want to take?
Well, I believe that's what life's all about, right? Life is all about choices. And you're either one choice or a decision away from changing your life dramatically, right? In that story, several instances, you were one decision and choice away from you being here and us not even having this conversation with you right now, right? So yeah, but it's interesting. I think like most people in the world do not make drastic changes in their life for the better until something traumatic happens in their life, right? Whether they're at a close death experience or someone they love close to them is in a position where they're losing them and dying. All of a sudden it's like, oh, I need to stop smoking. Oh, I need to stop eating horribly. I got to eat better. I got to do this. I got to do that. Why does it take such traumatic experiences for us to make a decision to put a value on our life because it's like us valuing whether we're good enough or worthy enough to make a choice that's worth doing that, which it should be all along. And this is all hypothetical. You can talk about this all day long, right? About why you should think this way, why you shouldn't think that way, why we should build. But the truth is, we just won't. As humans, I think we default to just not doing it because that's just maybe, who knows? I love the fact about you saying, when's the last time you said you love yourself? Because that's a perfect segue into that. Like, if we realized how much we did love ourselves, we wouldn't really treat ourselves that way. We would treat it the best way. We'd really like worship our body, our soul, because it's something that's a gift from God, you know? And I'm like you too. Like, my experience was now like, I do look at my body as I want to respect my soul. I want to respect it because God gave me the gift of life, and I'm still here. You're still here. We could be dead. If we're meant to die, we'd be dead right now.
I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? We have a purpose. Right. And there is Jim Quick. I love him. He was talking to the oldest woman, and I apologize, I can't remember her name. But she talks about, I think she's like 102 or 103, something like that, maybe even older. And he goes, how do you live so long? And she goes, because I have a purpose in life. I don't want to die. Like, I have so much that I want to do. Why not do it? Right. And so every time I hear that, it makes me really think, because I could have very easily, I was in so much pain. I mean, and going through another surgery and having 7 days where it was very painful the first 7 days from the first surgery, having to go through that again. I had to recover for 2 more weeks. So instead of having a 2-week total, I had 3 weeks of recovery. It was so bad. I got reopened, so my scars are a little bit bigger, which I don't care. Again, I'm not vain. It doesn't bother me. But surgeon was like, you're gonna have bigger scars. I'm like, I'm here. I'm happy. Like, I don't care. You have to have a purpose to keep you going, because I feel like too many people, we talked about this a little earlier, you procrastinate, or you get stuck, or you just want to be so perfect, or you feel like you can't do all these things well enough, so why try? And this comes back to the 5-year plan, right? Like, people just get stuck and they circle and they don't do anything. And it's like, tell yourself you love yourself. Treat yourself with kindness. Oh my gosh, that's the biggest thing, right? So many people are so mean to themselves. I'm an idiot. I couldn't do it. Oh, I couldn't figure out. I'm still trying to figure out Facebook ads. And it's like, I've been working on them for years, failing. Finally, I was telling Chris the other day, I'm like, I read them and I got like this great result on them. Like, look at me, I'm so cool. And they're like the most basic ads, but I don't care. They're working. Like this is, these events that we're doing and I'm speaking at and stuff, we're filling them up. Half of them are me filling up through Facebook ads. Wow. Getting real estate agents to come here, and we're hitting 50 people in each event. Athens, my last event, is going to be one of the biggest events. And I have people messaging me all day long being like, I cannot wait to go to your event. I can't wait to do this. But I found them through Facebook, because you can't go door knocking. You can't, I'm in a different country, right? But you have to love yourself, and you have to find that gratitude inside and saying, it's okay if I mess up. Like, I'm human, but you know what? At the end of the day, I love my children. I love my team. Like, I love Chris. I tell him all the time. Every time we talk, I'm like, I'm so grateful for you. Like, if you didn't come into my life, I don't know where I would be. Like, you have to find gratitude in what you do, because if you don't, you miss the important stuff that moves you through.
Come on.
And that's so important to me. It's like finding the things that are going to move me through, find the gratitude. And if I stumble, I just always tell people, your path is going to be windy. It's not going to be a straight line. I stumble, I pick up, I figure it out. I stumble, I pick up, I figure it out. But I'm enjoying things along the way. And I think that's the difference. A lot of people feel like they have to get so fast over there, they don't enjoy it, and they miss everything. It's like, enjoy life. It's one life. That's all we have.
Wow. KoKo, gosh, I got to tell you, every time I jump on with a new guest and, I get to know them, it's always such a treat. I mean, it's your story, you lead with such conviction, and you really do set such a great example of leadership. I mean, not only for your organization, but your family, your kids, and yourself, right? Which you really are showing me on this podcast is so important, right? Like, you're not just doing this for everybody else, but you're doing this because you believe in yourself. And to hear that you were literally, moments away on your deathbed, and then, you fast forward and gave us a snippet that you locked up all those transactions after. I mean, that doesn't come from a place of a victim mindset. It's a very much of a victor mindset. And hearing your story, I mean, it's like, 95% life is great and roses, and this 5% of, hey, this is what happened to me. And like Chris was, talking about recently, we get caught up, oh, that's just happened. My mindset's here. I'm just going to sit and do nothing about it. And it's so refreshing to hear your take on it, of just being a complete victor over all of your circumstances. And the fact that you're not settling, right? Like you had that goal. Hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get this surgery. This is what I'm setting out to. I want to be here. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get it done. You get it done. Things are coming at you. They're changing up the course, right? And you're like, no, it's okay. We're still on track to where we're headed to. I'm still doing what I'm doing. Everybody settle down. And that is a complete driver mentality. But I want to go back on this a little bit more. So for agents out there that are looking to have this, it seems like you do coaching, right? On the side, how would someone get in connection with you to kind of get into those services?
So they can find me on Facebook. And it depends. So I have 2 different coachings that I do. Mm-hmm. I do coach real estate agents. And I do tend to coach agents who have been in the business for 2 years or more. And typically they're already making maybe $100,000 or so in commissions or more, just mm-hmm. because I have found that's my niche. And I just started launching my latest coaching, which I'm actually really excited about as well. I'm coaching moms who are entrepreneurs.
Come on.
Realize that there's so many moms out there. You have your kids, you're starting a business, and we struggle because we're trying to be that mom. We're trying to be that wife. We're trying to be the business owner, the entrepreneur. And it is really hard to balance all of it, especially, keeping fit, staying fit, eating healthy, all this stuff that comes into play. So that's the second one that I'm doing, where I really want to give back to moms who want to be entrepreneurs, because I didn't figure it all out. I never tell anyone I don't figure it all out. I don't know everything, but I figured a lot out. I have 4 little kids. I run around to school activities. I do everything. I do real estate. So I'm still active selling real estate, and I have my coaching and I do my speaking, right? And my trainings and stuff that I do. So I have learned how to juggle everything. It's a way of putting systems. So I would say the best way to find me would be on Facebook. And if people look me up at Christina Kokologiannakis, I actually have a little pinned post that says, if you are a real estate agent, check out it's called the Free Agent Project. Okay. You can check out that one. But on my main personal page, I link people and tell them where to go, because I have so many different things. But that would be the best way. Or they can find me on Instagram, which is at Christina_Kokologiannakis.
Heck yeah. By the way, love and cannot wait to see this, Entrepreneurs for Moms, this actually release, because that is such a need in this market. I know my wife, she crushed corporate, and then had children and said, hey, honey, I want to stay at home with these babies. We have 3 beautiful children, but I did watch her. And thankfully, my wife's a rock star as well. And she connects to other leaders. And so she has her own business that she runs and has amazing leaders to connect. But not having that, she even told me, she's like, I kind of lost a bit of my purpose in that realm, because I went from 100 miles an hour to, wait, all these kids need me, and where's this time for me and time for us and time for, and it's a whole world shift. And so to have somebody like yourself that gets it is a major, shaker in the business world. I mean, you're going to change so many lives with that. That's awesome.
Thank you. That's the goal.
Yeah. What's interesting is this too, for those that are listening, you're hearing your story, like all this, levels of you've reached your goals, right? Doing all this stuff, the speaking, the traveling, all over the country, building a national team. I just want to kind of say this real quick, and I'm not putting you on Front Street at all, but let's go back real quick a bit when you attempted to start your first one in the Bay Area. Right. I just want to make sure everybody understands how normal and human you are. And they're thinking, oh my God, Coco just got it all figured out. She's a rock star. She's, she's so good and she's so tenacious, and she's burning her boats and she's burning shit and whatever she's doing. She's a rock star.
No, so many of them.
Yeah, but totally. But she fumbled the very first one, and it was actually, I think you ended up canceling it. We were trying to put something on, and you canceled it. It didn't even show up. So I'm thinking in my head, holy shit, good for you for doing this internationally, because your first attempt was locally in the Bay Area.
And it blew up.
And it blew up. and you didn't let that stop you, but okay. I mean, you could have threw a towel and you know what, this maybe is not my thing.
Look,
maybe I should do it.
So I'm going to tell everyone kind of the backstory of it so everyone understands what it was. I love speaking. I love training. I love getting in front of people. What I have found is my energy is really good. And people tell me when they're in front of me, computer works well too, but I find that when Chris knows, Chris has been in front. We've been together. We've had lunches. We hang out. You get more energy with me when you're in the room with me. And I can speak. I read people very well. So I can speak to you without you even knowing, like, I know what you're already thinking before you think it, kind of thing. And I said, okay, I want to do this event in South Lake Tahoe. I have an Airbnb up there. It's really big. And I said, people are going to want to come. I'm going to do like a half-day event. I'm going to provide food. It's going to be really, really fun. And I'm going to teach and train. And we're going to talk about so many different things. It's going to be awesome. I planned it. I booked it. Right? It's my house too, which was the good thing. I didn't lose any money. But I booked it. So I lost Airbnb money. But I booked it. I was like, I got this. I hit the phone. I was calling agents and inviting them. I was emailing them. I had it on Eventbrite. In my mind, was like, oh my God, everyone's going to sign up. I'm going to get like 50 people. I don't know if I can fit 50 people in the family room. And I got no one. No one.
Wow.
Chris knows I actually cried. I was crying so hard. Like, I was like, what is wrong with me? Like, I had a moment where, and people have this, and it's okay to have it. It really is. I literally doubted myself. I said, maybe I'm not a speaker. Maybe I'm not meant to do this. Like, nobody wanted to come. Like, and I was trying so hard, and Chris helped me out. Brent jumped on and he helped me out. My husband helped me out. And they were just like, that's not the case. Like, this was not meant to be this event. Like, we just didn't do it right. Reset and do it again. So I told them, I said, okay, I don't know if I'm gonna do events. I'll do stuff online because I tend to get more people online. And then with Greece, it all kind of came together. And we have had 4 events. 3 are already done. I've been traveling. So I was in Thessaloniki. I did Heraklion, which is a part of Crete, Hania, which is another part of Crete. And then I have Athens. And I've never had it where basically I'm training agents out here on how to sign exclusive agreements with international buyers. Because what they do is they end up having 20 buyers. They have a problem with listings as well. They don't have exclusive listings either. But they'll have like 20, 30 buyers and they close nothing. No money guaranteed, nothing. They just kind of like working with whoever and they never really close stuff. So I said, look, my business is made 90% of international buyers. It's mainly Indian from India or Chinese from Asia, right? From China. So those are my 2 client base that I typically work with, which is really funny because I have no connection at all, which a lot of people ask me how to do it. So I'm out here training and I built it up and I have people coming. And for Athens, it's gonna be one of our largest events. I'm actually hiring a videographer to record it and everything because I want to be able to show other people how to do it, what we're doing and all this stuff. But the first event, I cried. It was really traumatic for me.
Wow.
And for probably a few months, I was like, I'm not cut out for it. Like, I shouldn't do this. These events here, after every event, and now my Greek is not very good. So we have the broker of Greece who's with the XP who's there as well. And he'll translate, for a lot of the agents who don't speak as fluent English. But they'll come up and they go, I know my English is not very good. I'm sorry, but I have to tell you, you are amazing. Did I say that right? Amazing. Like, like, wow. They're trying to, I'm like, yes, you said it right. And they go, like, you gave me nuggets. I got so many good takeaways. And they're trying so hard to express what they got. And literally the broker Greece, he's so funny. He's very, very D driver too. He's like, okay, I'm going, KoKo, I'll see you outside because I have a line of people waiting to talk to me.
Come on.
Right. So it warmed my heart that, okay, this is my purpose, but I have to be more creative in how I build my events and do my events. And I love being up there. I love talking. I love sharing. I love making it interactive where actually I ask someone to say, okay, why don't you think you can do it? I really want to hear honesty. Well, because of blah, blah. And I go, well, let's dig deeper. And then I'm here coaching this guy in front of all these people who are just like, that's a fascinating way to look at it. I would never have thought it that way. So helping one, I'm helping all of them while I'm also have a whole training that I'm going through. I love it. I really love it. I think it's so much fun. And so I'm going to try to do more and more, but here I had to go to Greece to do it.
I know, right?
Hard.
Yeah, but look at the growth in yourself. Like they say, the best way to learn is to teach. And so you're such a great teacher that you're like exponentially learning so much. And yes, maybe you had to travel thousands of miles away to a completely different country for you to get great at this, to find your niche and find your groove, and come back and just take that and run it here locally too. Right now, like you have experience, you have backing on this now, you have confidence. And even though, I mean, again, I want people that are listening out there, when they hear you, you have confidence in your voice, you have confidence the way you speak, you have confidence the way you act. Yet you lack the confidence when that first defeat happened. And now you're back at where you've recharged your confidence level. So it's just normal. It's human. It's normal to fail. It's normal not to succeed. It's normal not to make it happen. It's normal not to walk up and hit a home run. Yeah. It's okay to hit a first base hit, right? It's a first base on hit. And that's where you start moving forward and you continue. So I love your experience. I love your journey. And I'm glad you had this experience to go to Greece. And maybe even the traumatic experience with, your near-death experience was a part of that journey. Yeah. It propelled you even more to look at things completely differently and to like from a different lens. And now you're just excelling. I can see like sun rays coming off of your forehead, not like figuratively, but like you just joy. Yeah. It's joy.
It is. And it's like, yeah, I'm tired. Here's the cool thing. Yes, I'm on the island of Crete, which if you ever get to or you've been here, it is amazing. I am Cretan. My husband's Cretan as well. So we're seeing a lot of family. We're enjoying people too. One of the coolest things, my husband's like, make sure you have time for vacation. Like he keeps pushing me because I love what I do, that I do so much of it. Sometimes I don't realize I'm doing it. I'm meeting with agents. I have one tomorrow that I'm meeting with. And I ask them so many things and I offer so much free advice of how I could help them. But the funny thing is I tell them, I go, I'm not going to should all over you. I'm not going to tell you, you should do this, you should do that. No, I want you to figure out what you need to do for your business to excel. But if I can offer some insight or help guide you to something, then I want to be able to do that. And I'm meeting with them. And what I do is I ask so many questions that now I know how real estate is really run by the agents out here in Crete, in mainland, and all these different places, and the true struggles they have. And they all go, oh, you don't understand because you're in the United States. They do it differently and they got it all figured out. I'm like, actually, we have a lot of the same struggles. Real estate is real estate. And one of the comments in one of my seminars was, we got to elevate our clients so that they understand we have to do this. But how do we elevate our clients? And I said, do you want to think that one through a little more, or do you want me to give you the answer? And everybody was like, just give us the answer because we don't know. And I said, you as the real estate agents have to elevate your clients. If you don't elevate yourself and you don't elevate everyone you talk to by setting the expectation that this is what we do and how we do it, your clients won't get elevated. They will never change. They will expect to call 500 agents to work with. This is what they do. They'll call these agents. They have no agreements. They'll work with whoever has a property. There's a lot of problems out here with how the properties are done. They don't really have addresses or real pictures or whatever. It's really hard. And I said, if you don't think outside the box and do it a different way yourself and elevate yourself and help agents around you elevate, nothing changes. Clients won't elevate. Nothing will elevate. You're stuck in the same whole rut that you're doing. So why are we doing it? And they were just like,
yeah, they're probably blown away. And it speaks to a lot of your experience to even get there to give them that message. As you're telling me this story, it reminds me a lot. And I'm sure you've probably seen the Hallmark where Jesus is standing there and there's, he's got his child and that he's asking for the small teddy bear. And then he has the picture that shows the picture behind Jesus and he's got this massive teddy bear. Right. So he's asking for this little teddy bear. And in exchange, if you give him the little teddy bear, he'll give you the big teddy bear. And I feel like hearing your story, that was your Tahoe experience, right? You set up this awesome mastermind. You thought it was going to be off the charts, all these things. You learned all these tools and systems to create this event. And you thought, this is it. And then God's like, no, I got something even bigger. You now, because I'm going to show you. Now you not only have proof of concept because you've failed and then have a success here, but now these agents are saying, oh no, you don't get it. Oh, you don't get it. You don't understand the problems. No, I actually do. I thought that this was the big ticket item, but actually here's the bigger teddy bear that I received here. And I have the solution. And that just has to gain confidence in yourself, not only now that you went out there and now that you had this failure here, now you're seeing the success here. I'm assuming you're, when you run up against that road again, you're going to steamroll right past it because hey, yeah, this one wasn't a success, but 10 others down the road are. And coaching others there is only going to magnify that too.
Yeah. And it's really that purpose, right? Because people are like, oh, you're doing it because you want to be a speaker and you want to do what, and the funny thing is, no. Yes, I want to be a speaker. And yes, those are different things, but I do it because I get joy. And yes, it gives me confidence when people are like, you were amazing, because I have self-doubts like everybody else in the world. Mm-hmm. And so many times I'm like, that was horrible. Did I do good? Like, I don't know, because in my mind, I have this perfect picture of how everything has to go. And then I don't know if it went the way other people liked it or not, because I don't think it went so good. Mm-hmm. And so for me, it's like, to hear people say that I changed their life, or I gave them some really great nuggets, or I told them things they never thought was possible. Now they know it's possible. It brings me so much joy that I'm like, I want to do it for you. And I want to do it for you. Like, I want to help people, because when you have those realizations of joy and you realize so many different things, like I feel like so many, especially real estate agents, we get stuck. Mm-hmm. We get these people who tell us you have to have 1,000 leads. No, it's like, oh, you have to have 1,000 leads. You have to funnel them through. You have to do all this. You have to do this. Oh, you have to buy leads from here, and you have to do that. And you have to work 60 hours. And we get so overwhelmed that we're like, oh, I can't figure it out. Or we have to have marketing. We have to have Facebook. We have to have Instagram. You have to do all these things. And that's analysis paralysis for me. Yeah, like, it's so much that I am a perfectionist. Like, because I renovate homes, I remodel, I do all this. I like to have things look a certain way. I have a vision, and then I make that vision. In real estate, it's hard for me because I felt like, oh, I had to have this Instagram account, which, by the way, mine's like, I just started it probably like 6 or 8 months ago. Like, that's how I'm into it. Because they were like, someone was like, you have to have it. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. But like, I had analysis paralysis because I was so afraid it wasn't perfect, because I didn't know how to do posts, or I don't know how to make it consistent. And I still don't. But I realized that you have to just do it. If something you enjoy and it brings you joy, do it. I give so much away for free. Everyone asks me, why do you do it? Mm-hmm. Because it brings me joy. Mm-hmm. No, you're going to make money off it. It's like, no, I really, you growing and excelling as a real estate agent, mm-hmm. it levels all of us. So if I can help you grow, I'm going to grow automatically, and we mm-hmm. all do better. And I get so much joy and happiness. I'll do it all day long.
Yeah. Love that.
Thank you, EXP. That's what our whole entire model is about, right? It's a win-win model. Literally synonymous. Man, KoKo, this has been amazing. I honestly have even learned more about you, honestly, on this podcast too, than we've even talked off topic, and off the microphone. And you're just an amazing. I mean, we've learned everything from purpose, love, joy, passion, honesty. I mean, everything you have, contribution, servitude, everything you have, all these qualities. I don't think there's anything you can't touch that won't turn to freaking gold.
Come on.
That's just what it is. I feel like you just have this thing, like, okay, if you're almost like that kid Mikey, the life serial kid, let's get Mikey. He'll do anything, right? He'll eat anything. Like KoKo will do anything, and if you do it, she'll make it happen. Like, I feel like that's just your go-to person. So, extremely blessed and honored to even have you part of our Team Freedom organization. I can't wait to be more with you in person when you get back from Greece, and just have you around. I mean, love to have some of your training and coachings with us on the Team Freedom. Another value add to us, to come do some of that. We'd love to have that access to that and be a part of it. But just hearing your story has been amazing. And again, super grateful. Love that you've been part of our Team Freedom. Always a great show. And for those in the podcast world who are listening to this, we appreciate everybody that listens to us on a weekly basis, because we hope we bring some major value to you. And today was packed with value. I mean, if you didn't get something from this today, you got to be deaf, dumb, and blind. I'm just being honest, right? You really got to be deaf, dumb, and blind. And just keeping that real. Like, this was a packed version of, like, literally you started a journey from bottom, ground floor 1, and you went to level 32 and everything in between, right? And you made it so relatable, right? So relatable and so transparent that anybody can potentially do this. There's no freaking excuses. Just get your ass off the fucking couch and go to work. That's how I feel. So
it's really finding your nuggets that work for you. And this is what I tell everybody. It's every conversation you have or whatever you do in life, find the golden nuggets that work for you, because my journey is not your journey. Chris's journey is not your journey. You have to find your own. And too many people are trying to do someone else's journey. Mm-hmm. Make it your own. Find what you truly enjoy. If you love doing videos, do videos. If you like writing blogs, write blogs. Like, My daughter wrote a book when she was 11 because she wanted to write a book, and I helped her publish it. And she's a 4-time Amazon bestseller because I encouraged her to find something she enjoys. So find what you like, pull nuggets out of these podcasts. Chris does a great job with, bringing people on to discuss different things. He talks a lot about great stuff. Just find little things that you can just start implementing. And I promise you, it starts the wheel and the movement goes.
Consistency is all consistency. Awesome. Well, again, appreciate you, Koko. Love you to death. Safe travels, and you're back when you come. When are you coming back, by the way? When is your time back?
I'll be back August 3rd. Okay. And then, I don't know if I'll see you, but we gotta get together for some dinner.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I leave August 9th, so we got a few days there before I leave. But yes, absolutely. Safe travels to you and your family. Enjoy this. I love your growth. And as always, we appreciate all the guests. And for those that are new, we love hearing you too. So until next week, have an amazing week. Go out and crush it. We love you all.